Hey guys, so this is day 66 of the RC practice series. The passage was a straight, easy read. In the first paragraph of the passage, author introduces the fact that there are differing views on Florence Nightingale's importance. Then he introduces Summers' view that Nightingale's importance has been exaggerated. She was not as important. It is rather a result of media propaganda, news reporters. In a second paragraph, a contrasting viewpoint is presented. The editors who have edited the new volume of Nightingale's letters, they have come to this conclusion that she was influential and she secured much for the army men. She helped establish a royal commission on the health of army. She also influenced administrative matters. In the last paragraph, author gives his opinion and he supports the latter of the two viewpoints, that letters available testify to her brilliance and creativity. She was an eminent social pioneer. This is what is the conclusion of the passage. This can be called the conclusion of the passage. Let's look at the questions now. The author directly credits Nightingale with contributing to which of the following? Option A. Okay, the source of this question is the third paragraph because author's own viewpoint is presented in the third paragraph only. Option A, improving of the survival rate for soldiers in British Army hospitals during the Crimean War. First, this is a factual inaccuracy. The survival rate did not necessarily increase. We don't know about the effect of establishing the Royal Commission. Also, it is editor's viewpoint, even if factually true, it would be editor's viewpoint, not the author's viewpoint. So author has not directly said that her efforts resulted in better survival rate or enhancing the survival rate of the soldiers. Option B, the development of a nurse's training curriculum. First thing, she did not help establish or put in place a training curriculum, rather a training hospital. So this is also factually wrong. Also, this is not author's point of view, same reason. This is again editor's point of view. This is what the evidence suggests. This is what her letters suggest. Option C, effecting a wide array of social changes. Okay, here it is written, in sum, although Nightingale may not have achieved all her goals during the Crimean War, her breadth of a vision and ability to realize ambitious projects have earned her an eminent place among the ranks of social pioneers. The breadth of vision implies that she effected a wide array of social changes. Now, because she was a social pioneer, so this part can be inferred. Okay, this is author's viewpoint. Option D, the creation of an organization for monitoring the peacetime living conditions. Now, option D talks of Royal Commission here. However, this is not author's viewpoint. This is again, author has not directly credited Nightingale with creation of Royal Commission. It is editors who do so. So editor's point of view, author might have implicitly agreed with their viewpoint, but he has not directly credited Nightingale with the same. So option D, though tempting, is incorrect. Good question. Passage suggests that which of the following passage suggests the following about Nightingale's relationship with the British public of her day. Okay, so where is the source? First paragraph, last line says, Nightingale's place in the national pantheon is largely due to the propagandistic efforts of contemporary newspaper reporters. Okay. Also, uh, she had a heroic reputation. This is also mentioned. Here, she influenced not only her own age but also subsequent generations. All right. So, if she influenced her own age, it can be inferred that she had a good deal of influence. She was respected by the public of her age, of her day. So she was highly venerated. That is correct. And her projects, now venerated is respected. It comes from pantheon, the word pantheon. Pantheon means she was considered one of the national gods, national pantheon. Okay. So she was highly venerated and her projects received popular support because she influenced people of her age. So yes, popular support. Governmental support because she could influence, persuade the government into establishing a royal commission. So yes, governmental support is also validated. Option A should be the correct answer. Option B, she encountered resistance both from the army establishment. This is opposite. She was supported by some biographers, but not by others. This is present day assessment of her achievements. But the question is about her contemporaries, people of her age, British public of her age, of her day. So she was supported by some biographers. Probably he's talking of these editors, but not by others. Summers, but Summers and these editors are they offer present day assessments of her achievements and not the, they do not belong to the British public of her day. They are not one of them. So C is actually incorrect. She was supported by the military establishment. Okay, maybe, but had to fight the government. She did not have to fight. She actually was able to persuade the governmental bureaucracy. So this is also factually incorrect. A is the correct answer. Passage suggests which are the following about sanitary conditions in Britain after the Crimean War. Okay, it was written that uh, for example, the peacetime living conditions in the British barracks were so horrible that the death rate of enlisted men far exceeded that of the neighboring civilian populations. So they were bad, they were horribly bad. They were especially abysmal in military barracks. That should be the correct answer. Abysmal means abject, very bad, rock bottom. Compared with conditions before the war, they had deteriorated. So no such comparison. Pre-war and post-war comparison is not given, so this comparison becomes alien. They were more advanced in rural areas again than in urban centers. The comparison between rural and urban centers is also alien to the discussion. They were worse in military camps, that is correct, than in any civilian neighborhood. Oh, this is extreme. Also, please understand civilian population neighboring civilian population is not the same as civilian neighborhoods. The word neighborhood uh, could refer to any dwelling, any city, any place of settlement, while neighboring, the adjectival form refers to the surrounding civilian populations or the civilian populations in the vicinity of military barracks. So there's also a slight factual twist here, factual distortion, factual inaccuracy. Uh, Even so, even if it were correct, this word any civilian neighborhood is extreme. We only know that the neighboring cities had a better death rate, or they had a better survival rate than the military barracks. Option D is actually incorrect and extreme. Number 4, which of the following statements regarding the differing interpretations of Nightingale's importance would the author be most likely agree? Okay. Summers misunderstood both the importance of Nightingale's achievements. So author is not on Summers' side clearly, because he says that her letters are evidence enough to support the view that she was brilliant and creative and she had achieved a lot. She was a social pioneer after all. So Summers misunderstood. This is correct according to the author's point of view. So the importance of Nightingale's achievements during the given and her subsequent influence on British policy. Well, author does not mention that Summers influenced the British policy. So this part is alien, factually distorted also. Also, the entire focus of A is on Summers. The other party, the other set of people, the editors, are not even being talked about in A, so it is incomplete. Some part is alien, some part is incomplete, and the answer choice as a whole is incomplete. Okay. B, the editors of Nightingale's letters made some valid points about her practical achievements. That's correct, but they still exaggerated her. That is opposite to author's tone. Author clearly supports these editors' interpretation. So this is opposite. Although Summers' account of Nightingale's role in the Crimean War may have some substance, okay, may have some substance, that is always right. She ignored evidence. Okay, did she ignore evidence? Last paragraph, first line. I believe that the evidence of her letter supports continued respect for Nightingale, while Summers did not respect her. So yes, although Summers' account may have some substance, she clearly ignored evidence of Nightingale's subsequent achievement that suggests that her reputation is well deserved. So yes, option C should be the correct answer. Editors of Nightingale's letters mistakenly propagated. Editors were not mistaken. That again runs opposite to author's tone, author's main point. Which of the following is an assumption? Now this was a critical reasoning question and a good question, good level question. Which of the following is an assumption underlying the author's assessment of Nightingale's creativity? Okay. So when the author calls her creative, he says, when counseling a village schoolmaster to encourage children to use their faculties of observation, she sounds like a modern educator. So the evidence cited in support of her creative bent is that she counseled a village schoolmaster to encourage children to use their faculties of observation. Okay. So now, if counseling the schoolmaster to encourage children to use their skill of observation was creative, it would imply that this view was not normal. If this view has been cited as creative, it means that other people had not propounded such a view before. Option A should be the assumption that educational philosophy in Nightingale's day did not normally emphasize developing children's ability to observe. Only then. Now, if author assumes that this was not normal during Nightingale's day, only then can he arrive at this conclusion that she was creative for proposing so. All right, nice question. A done. Nightingale was the first to notice the poor living conditions. Well, not really. Also, this living condition wala point is not mentioned with respect to her creativity. No educator before Nightingale had thought. Now we can't be that certain. This is extreme. No educator had thought to enlist the help of village schoolmasters. We don't know that. She was creative means it was not normal for people to have the point of view she had. So she thought out of the box. That does not mean no educator before Nightingale had necessarily thought to enlist the help of Willis School masters. Also, new teaching techniques. She did not actually introduce any new teaching technique. She rather talked about pedagogy, or she probably talked of encouraging students to use their faculties more, faculties of observation, and that would not count as a teaching technique really. Until Nightingale began her work, there was no concept of organized help for the needy Norwegians. Again, an alien idea. We don't know that. We can't infer this. So correct option A. Hope you got all of them right. Keep preparing. Keep practicing. Cheers to learning.